Welcome back to my channel. Remember to subscribe as I bring you interesting stories and different topics. And don't forget to be part of the conversation by simply commenting your thoughts down below in the comment section. With that said, let's get into today's video. With me today, I have some breaking news. I know of late I haven't been posting videos about the Israel-Palestine war, but in this video, you will hear interesting things that made me post or share this video with you today. I don't know if you have heard this news, but the trending update concerning this war is that Israel is now pulling fire brigades out of Gaza. Now, some people feel these are the early signs of Israel losing the war to Gaza. This was after Israel announced that it will withdraw thousands of its forces from Gaza as they first pressure from the US to shift toward a more low-intensity war. But is Israel to be trusted? Well, we don't know what they are up to now following Netanyahu's stance and what he keeps on saying about this war. But with them pulling out now, is this war still going to last for months or years like he said? Check out these videos. I will be back. Make sure to stay glued because when I get back, we talk more about this trending issue.
What does it mean that Israel is pulling 5 brigades out of Gaza? Well, the short answer is it's an early sign of defeat. But there is more to the story. Israel has about 17 brigades operating in the Gaza Strip. 4 still fighting in northern Gaza. Remember, this is northern Gaza that Israel has supposedly taken over in the early weeks of the war. 7 are fighting just in around Khan Yunis and the Khan Yunis area in the south, and the rest are fighting in central Gaza. None of these brigades have achieved any of their actual objectives. Even northern Gaza is still a major spot for battles, and the Palestinian resistance keep fighting everywhere from Beit Lahia to Beit Hanun to Juhr al-Dik. They took over Juhr al-Dik like within hours, yet the major battles are still happening in Juhr al-Dik within northern Gaza. So Israel is pulling nearly a third of its military force out of Gaza, and the Walla news website are saying more will be pulled out next week. What does it mean? Simple. Israel is losing the war on Gaza, or in a different way, the traditional style of warfare that Israel has fought in Gaza since October 7 has proven to be ineffectual, in fact disastrous on the Israeli army. A single hospital in Israel declared that they have received 3,500 Israeli soldiers since October 7. Just one hospital. Imagine all the hospitals from Tel Aviv to Beersheba, Beersheba, Jerusalem, and elsewhere. Israel is losing war and is losing badly. Netanyahu keeps talking about a war that's going to extend for several more months, years if needed. But with you and what army? If a third of your forces are being pulled out as we speak, and more will be added to it next week, what is the army?
Breaking news. It's been reported in the last hour that Israel is pulling thousands of its troops out of Gaza. Yes, that's correct. You heard me correctly. Now, I wouldn't get too excited because, like I said before, Israel and America are not to be trusted, my love. So we are starting to see that maybe the reason why they're pulling out is because they're realizing that they are unmatched. Like they cannot, Big H. They can't meet Big H where they trying to meet them at, baby. They basically playing tic-tac-toe with a bunch of ghosts, and they getting wiped out, and they realizing that this ain't no game of Call of Duty. Like, this is the real deal, Holyfield. We actually getting killed out here. Something ain't right. Y'all said that we was going to go out there. We wasn't going to get into too much. We was going to tear up some houses. We was going to do a little this, a little bit of that, but it was basically our game, and y'all was going to be using the planes the majority of the time. You ain't saying nothing about no ground nations, and now we gotta do these ground nations, and we coming back in pieces, and they really whooping us all up and through the desert. Like, what's going on? So I'm guessing that that's the reason, since they face pressure from the US to shift toward a more low intensity war. But it's starting to sound like they're trying to hide behind the pressure that's coming from the US because they know that they cannot meet Big H on the level that they're at. You just got struck by so many missiles overnight. Y'all y'all folks is literally look at that video I posted about Tel Aviv being on fire, and I want y'all to click that link down below and see all the videos coming out of Tel Aviv. So there's trouble on every single avenue. Everybody's telling you need to pull back. Literally the whole world is standing up and saying y'all better get this together, and we're not going to let Palestine. But y'all choosing to lean into the theory that the U.S., the pressure from the U.S. is the reason why y'all really pulling people out there. Bitch, please. Y'all knew that y'all could not face Hamas, and y'all went in there and did as much damage as you could to the actual citizens of Palestine, but never actually found Hamas. So what's really tea, sis? Because it's not given. What y'all say it is, it's not given. If you scared, then just say that. Just say that, girly pop, gumdrop. We're not judging out loud, but just say that. Anyways, either way, this is a win, but keep your eyes on the prize because I don't trust them.
Now, the Israeli military confirmed Monday that it was pulling thousands of troops out of the Gaza Strip, a step that could clear the way for a new long-term phase of lower intensity fighting against the Hamas militant group. Now, the confirmation of the planned troop drawdown came the same day that Israel's Supreme Court struck down a key component of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's contentious judicial overhaul plan. While the plan is not directly connected to the war effort, it was the source of deep divisions inside Israel and had threatened the military's readiness before the October 7 Hamas attack that triggered the ongoing war. Now, politicians warned against reigniting those divisions and harming the national unity that has prevailed throughout the Israel-Hamas war. Netanyahu has vowed to press ahead with the military offensive until Hamas is crushed and the more than 100 hostages still held by the militant group in Gaza are freed. But Israel has come under growing international pressure to scale back an offensive that has led to the unalivings of nearly 22,000 Palestinians. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who has repeatedly urged Israel to do more to protect Palestinian civilians, is expected in the region. In its announcement, the army said that 5 brigades or several thousand troops would be taken out of Gaza in the coming weeks. Some will return to bases for further training or rest, while many other reservists will go home. The war has taken a toll on the economy by preventing reservists from going to their jobs, running their businesses, and returning to university studies. The Army's chief spokesperson, Daniel Hagari, did not say whether the withdrawal of some troops reflected a new phase of the war. The objectives of the war require prolonged fighting, and we are preparing accordingly, he told reporters late Sunday. But the move is in line with the plans that Israeli leaders have outlined for a low-intensity campaign expected to last for much of the year that focus on remaining Hamas strongholds and pockets of resistance. Now, Israel has said it's close to operational control over most of northern Gaza, reducing the need for forces there. Yet fierce fighting has continued in other areas of the Palestinian territory, especially the south, where many of Hamas forces remain intact and where most of Gaza's 2.3 million people have fled. Israel has vowed to crush Hamas military and governing capabilities in the ongoing war, which was sparked by the militant group's October 7 attack on southern Israel, in which 1,200 people were unalived and 240 others were taken hostage. Now, Israel responded with an air, ground, and sea offensive that has unalived more than 21,900 people in Gaza, 2/3 of them women and children, and according to the health ministry in the Hamas-ruled territory, which does not differentiate between civilians and combatants in its count. Now, the Israeli military says 173 soldiers have been unalived since it launched its ground operation. Israel also says, without providing evidence, that more than 8,000 militants have been unalived. It blames Hamas for the high civilian unaliving toll, saying the militants embedded within residential areas, including schools and hospitals. Now, war has displaced some 85% of Gaza's population, forcing tens of thousands of people in overcrowded shelters or teeming tent camps in Israeli designated safe areas that the military has nevertheless beat. Palestinians are left with a sense that nowhere is safe. With tensions high across the region, the United States announced Monday that it would send an aircraft carrier strike group home and replace it with an ambitious ship and accompanying warships. Now, since the latest exchange of began along the Lebanon-Israel border on October 8, 133 Hezbollah fighters and around 20 civilians have been unalived in Lebanon. Meanwhile, Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen have fired long-range aims at Israel and attacked civilian cargo ships in the Red Sea. The United States has sent warships to the Mediterranean and Red Seas, providing protection for Israel and underscoring concerns that the fighting could widen. On Monday, the U.S. Navy announced that after months of extra duty at sea, the USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier group would head home. The Ford will be replaced by the ambitious assault ship, the USS Bataan, and its accompanying warships. Now, Israel is withdrawing some forces from Gaza to shift to more targeted operations against Hamas and is partially returning reservists to civilian life to help the economy as the war looks set to last well into the new year, an Israeli official said. Now, the official said toppling the Islamist faction remained an objective of the offensive in the Palestinian enclave, and that some of the 5 brigades withdrawn will prepare for a possible flare-up of a second from against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Asked by reporters about a troop reduction, Israel's military spokesperson said 2 reservist brigades would be released this week, launching war in retaliation for the cross-border Hamas rampage of October 7. Israeli officials have said they would wage it in 3 main stages. The first was intense shelling to clear access routes for ground forces and encourage civilians to evacuate. The second was the invasion that began on October 27, with tanks and troops having now overrun much of the Gaza Strip, largely asserting control despite Palestinian men continuing their ambushes from hidden tunnels and bunkers. The military is moving to the 3rd stage, said the official, who could not be named in print given the sensitivity of the issue. This would take 6 months at least and involve intense mopping up missions against the terrorists. No one is talking about doves of peace being flown from Sharjah, the official told Reuters, referring to a Gaza district ravaged by fighting. Now, in addition to the 1,200 people unalived on October 7, Hamas took some 240. Israel is also determined to recover the 129 still held in Gaza. Qatari and Egyptian mediated truce efforts have raised the protest of some of them being freed. The shift appeared to correspond to pressure from Israel's top ally, the United States, to review tactics and do more to protect non-combatants. This is basically what's happening with Israel. Do you, my viewers, agree to say that this just shows how Israel is losing this war? Kindly share your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.